Hello, welcome back to my channel. I can't find my tripod, so my camera is on a box of latex gloves. So it's a little low right now. Also, I am very disorganized. And I rode my bike all the way to my studio with about 45 minutes to spare before I have to do something. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go to my studio and I'll get my yarn and I'll wind my yarn and I'll pick a pattern from the 52 Weeks of Socks book for this video. But the book is at my apartment and I know exactly where it is. It's literally under a blanket on my floor because my cat was chewing on it and I covered it with a blanket. We're not gonna pick a pattern right now. I'm gonna show you what I'm thinking for yarn, and this is for my birthday sock that I mentioned in some of my other videos. This idea was given to me by a commenter. I was asking for ideas for the sock videos. Totally open to any ideas. If anyone has ideas for picking patterns, picking yarns, or just any ideas you have to make these videos a little bit more interesting. Not that they're not interesting, but it's always fun to mix it up a little beyond just like standard sock knitting. This is what I'm thinking for my special birthday sock. And this is a birthday sock because it is, I totally just went off on a little tangent, but going back to the original idea that was given to me by the commenter, it was to knit a sock in my birthstone color, which is sapphire, because my birthday is this month, September. So I found this yarn, which I talked about in my Fuzzy Wuzzy Knitting podcast video. This is, what is it? It's Koigu wool, and it is 100% merino wool, so there's no nylon in this, but it is a nice, I think it's a 4-ply twist. So I feel like its intention was to be made into socks. So this is what I'm going to use for my main sock. And then I have been having fun with mixing up toe colors and heel colors and stripes and stuff. And so I definitely want to do that. And I was thinking maybe I would use this. This is the Dream in Color Enchanted yarn that I've used quite a few times on my channel. And I was thinking maybe some little stripes at the cuff, and then maybe a little stripe of this in the heel and the toe, just little accents. That's what I'm thinking right now. Could change. I only have accent colors that are pink, and I don't know that I want to do pink with blue, or I have green. I have the really bright green, but I don't know that I want to do that either. So I think this is what I'm going to start with. There is this yarn at one of the yarn shops in Oakland that I saw last time I was there, and I'm gonna go there again today. It's by, I always forget the name. I think it's okay, I have no idea. But I can picture the label, so I'll put a screenshot of the label. But the yarn store that I'm gonna go to today got a bunch of that yarn in last time I was there, and they had this really epic colorway that was I think it was pink. I think it was blue. I think it was blue, white, green with neon pink, very I feel like I'm always drawn to those colors. I'm gonna have the most wild socks, and I feel I always reach for the white and gray and black socks, and then I make all these these ridiculous socks. It's all good. You have to have a balance in life somehow. Look, I'm literally wearing all white and a black belt. I'm not wearing any color today, and yet I love color. Okay, so this is the plan for the birthday sock. When I'm reunited with my 52 Weeks of Socks book, we can pick a pattern together, and then we can start this. Yeah, so, okay, well that's it for now. This is my initial plan, and my birthday is in 1 week from the day that I'm filming this. I don't really want to say when my birthday is because I have big birthday anxiety, and I get really overwhelmed on my birthday. It happens regardless of if I have plans or not, if I've told people, if people know it's my birthday, if people don't know it's my birthday. It's no matter what happens, I always feel a little bit anxious, and I think it's just the growing up thing, you know? Last year I didn't do anything for my birthday. I had breakfast with one of my friends, and he gave me a really nice gift that was very thoughtful, and then I think I just hung out with some other friends and got coffee, and it was totally nice and chill, and it was way better than having a big party with like lots of expectations, you know. I don't think I'm really into that anymore. Also, I thought it would be fun to try 2 at a time socks. Not because I'm lazy, not because I only have 1 week to make these socks, because I thought we should try something new on this channel. Like, we've used double points. We briefly used the little shorty circular needles, and we'll probably use those again. But I've never tried 2 at a time, and I am not a magic loop gal, so I thought it would be fun to give it a try. Give magic loop another chance. Knit 2 socks at a time. It could be fun. So I might have to buy needles, because I don't know if I have needles that small. But I can get those at the yarn store today. Okay, so I'm going to wind this, and then we can pick a pattern. I have picked a pattern. So I went home and I got my 52 Weeks of Socks book, and I was just like flipping through, trying to find something that would look great in this blue yarn, which we're calling Sapphire for this video. I flipped through the whole book and I found 3 patterns. What are they called? I think one was called Loomy, and then one was called Lottie, and then one was called Hollingborn. I thought it would be fun to ask on my little community page on YouTube which one I should do, just to help me, like, you know, just tell me pick one, because sometimes it's really hard to choose. So I posted all those on the community page, and I asked you guys which one I should knit, and the majority of the people who commented said number 1, which is the Hollingborn. I'm like just trying to remember. I haven't opened the book, even though it's right next to me. So the one that was the most popular in the vote was the Hollingborn sock by Charlotte Stone of Stone Knits on Instagram, I believe. Stone Knits is like amazing colorwork socks, and she just released a colorwork socks book. So should we buy that book and start a knitting my way through Charlotte Stone's colorwork book series? Maybe after this sock. We'll see how this sock goes, because this will be my first colorwork sock. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be fun. I'm learning so many things by doing these videos, and the reason I decided to do a 2 at a time sock is literally just because I'm gonna be knitting 52 pairs of socks, so let's just try all of the sock knitting techniques. Let's try all the techniques, all the needles, all the heels, all the yarns. Like, let me know anything I should try related to sock knitting, and we'll do it this year, because I'm up for the challenge, and the challenge this week is 2 at a time socks. So I went to Piedmont Yarn in Oakland, where I frequent, and I bought some needles. I bought just some size 1 40-inch circular needles right here. My socks are on them. And then I just watched a YouTube video, and I'll put the YouTube video that I watched in the, links below if you want to also learn how to knit 2 at a time socks. So I watched that video, and I just like cast on and knit my first round while I was watching that video, basically, and I thought it was pretty helpful. It definitely helped me. I watched a few videos, but that one was the best, and I don't remember if that was the one where people were commenting and they were like, this isn't helpful at all. I still don't know what I'm doing. But I thought it was pretty helpful. I was able to cast on. It made sense. Like, it was a little confusing at first because this is my first time doing 2 at a time, and I don't usually do magic loop, and I thought it was a pretty simple video to follow. But I think I'm also like kind of a patient person when it comes to knitting, at least. So I have no problem like rewinding and watching the video over and over again until I like figure it out. Let me show you what I have. I have just gotten to the stopping point of the cuffs of the sock. So this is what I have. These are my 2 socks that I'm knitting at the same time. I really don't think it's faster. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be faster or if it's just like to get through the second sock syndrome that some people have. I've definitely experienced it. It's not uncommon, but yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be faster. Maybe I'm just slow. I also am still like paying attention to what I'm doing quite a bit, which I think is also making it a little slower. And I'm trying to be really careful when I pull the cable out because I don't want to pull the sock off the cable. And I did that last night when I was like knitting in my bed and falling asleep. And it like it woke me up. It like jolted me. I was like, oh my god, my sock. Not my sock falling off the needle. It was because like the sock was resting on the needle and I like pulled the needle out instead of pulling the cable out. So yeah, but it's all good now. It's back on the needles. We've been knitting a lot since then. I'm supposed to do 15 rows here. I only have like 10 or 11 rows right now, but in the picture, her sock it has like a pretty short cuff, and I wonder if it's just like my yarn is a little bit more dense. So I think I'm just gonna stop here so it's nice and short. And I'm gonna start my color work. And the color work is I'm hoping that I can make this work with the 2 at a time socks. I'm going to be having a lot of yarn going. So I have my 2 socks and I have my 2 balls. And these were like perfect for 2 at a time socks because they're exactly the same. They're in little cakes. It would have been so easy had I not decided to do a color work sock. And I want to do the color work portion in this yarn, which is, oh, I think I talked about this already. This is the Dream and Color yarn in Enchanted. So I just have this 1 ball. So I think I'm going to have to unravel half of it and make 2 balls. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And then I'm gonna start the color work portion of the sock. Just looking at the picture, it looks like I have maybe a few rows that would just be solid before the color work starts. So maybe I'll be able to do that this evening, but I only have an hour and a half before my next commitment, and I would much rather sit here and knit these socks, but we'll see. Not sure how far I'll get. My goal is to finish these socks the day before my birthday so I can post this video on my birthday, and so that would be in 3 days. It seems pretty unlikely, so I will let you know if this video goes up on my birthday or not. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna make this into 2 balls. What if I could for a second, when I was holding this up to the camera, I was like, it'd be so much easier if I could just chop it in half. No. All right, yeah, so I'm gonna get to work and I'll check in a bit and let you know how this color work is going. Hopefully it's not like too much to deal with, because I will deal with it and I will make it to the end, but I might not have a great time. And I much prefer these videos when I'm having a great time. So yesterday was my birthday and I did not finish my socks in time because I started them about 5 days before my birthday and I had other things to do as well as knit socks. That didn't happen. I have made some progress on my 2 at a time Hollingbourne socks, which I will show you right now. I did the whole ankle and then I did the heel on 1 sock this morning. I did not do the whole ankle this morning. I just did the heel on 1 sock this morning. It actually took me a very long time. It took me like an hour and a half to do this heel, which seems like a really long time. So this is what I have so far. I have 2 ankles and this one has a little heel. So this is the heel that I just did this morning. It's very flat, but it's basically like that. There's my heel. There's my heel. Oh, it's probably hard to see because it's like dark yarn, but yeah, the Dream in Color yarn, this Enchanted colorway, looks so pretty in the camera right now with these like pink speckles running through. And then this purple is the Ritual Dyes Maiden yarn. I just had some and I thought I would just like do a little something extra at the top there. I don't think I'm going to use the purple again, maybe at the toe a little bit, but just a little something extra. This looks really cool in the camera. I'm like kind of hyped. So this is the other one. I'm going to do the heel today and hopefully move on to work the foot, because I feel like I made it through the ankle. Like, this definitely took a while, and now we're gonna do the heel, and then we're gonna do the foot and the toe, and it'll be done. Yeah, so it's going quite well. I am kind of enjoying the 2 at a time socks. Let me just scooch my needles. I have had a couple moments where, so these are my 2 at a time socks on the needles, and to do 2 at a time socks, you kind of have to, you work them in a funny order. You work half of the first sock, and then you work the whole second sock. So you work one side, you flip it, and you work the other side, and then you work the second side of the first sock. And that's how you like use the magic loop to knit 2 pairs of socks. And you also have to have 2 separate balls of yarn going. And I think that was fine. It was a little confusing at first because I was like, wait, what do I do now? But I got the hang of it really quickly. It definitely helps that like you always have your yarn on the end that you're working on, like obviously, and then you always have your, you know, your like ends. That's what I use to mark the beginning of my rounds. So I'm not really marking the beginning of my rounds, I'm just taking note of where the I'm like blocking my face with the cable. I just like take note of where the tails are as the beginning of my round, and that's worked really well for me. I probably should have like timed myself to see if this was faster, although this is the first Colorwork sock that I've done, so it might be a little slow anyway. Maybe I'll time myself if I ever do this again. I don't dislike the 2 at a time socks, like, and it's kind of making me think I should give Magic Loop another chance, because I haven't done Magic Loop for sock knitting. I've only done it for like sleeves, and I don't know, maybe I've matured in my knitting. Maybe I've matured with like my knitting tool ability. Yeah, so that's what we have so far. And this yarn, so this yarn that I got from Scrap, which is the reuse center in San Francisco, that I got for like 16 bucks. It was 2 of these. They were each 175 yards, 100% merino wool, but it is like a twisted sock yarn. So I'm hoping I'm hoping it's like at least a little bit sturdy. But I have noticed that this yarn is breaking in some places. Like, I don't know, maybe it was like really old yarn, or maybe this was one of the yarns that said it was like sun bleached and it's slightly like started to fall apart. I'm not sure, but I had a couple moments where I was knitting and it literally just snapped in half. And it wasn't like a nice solid twist the way this piece is where it snapped. It was like it had started to, I don't know, it was like you could tell it was about to break, but that was a little concerning because I like definitely don't want these to just fall apart. They're very beautiful. I would be sad if they fell apart. And that did make me hesitant to use that yarn for the heel. But it feels pretty sturdy right now, and I don't think I'm too hard on my socks, so I'm hoping it will be okay. I'm hoping we can make it through the next heel with some solid portions of this yarn, and no, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was just like pieces that were very fragile and like breaking. Hopefully we can make it to the end. I mean, we're definitely gonna make it to the end. I just might have like some ends that I need to cut and weave in. That's basically the sock update here. We have 2 ankles, 1 heel, and I'm gonna keep working. When I knit the first heel, I didn't cut the secondary color on either one of the socks, like just in case it ended up on the same side. I was like, I don't need to cut it, I'll just reattach it later. Once I finished this heel, I realized that my second color was on the opposite side anyway, so I would have to cut it and like rejoin anyway. So I just cut that, and then I cut the other one because when I was knitting that first heel, it was like a mess of just a big tangle. So this will be easier with just two strands going while I'm knitting the next heel. And since yesterday was my birthday, I did not buy myself anything. I was at the yarn store yesterday and I was tempted, but I wasn't like tempted to buy anything specifically. I was just like in there and I was like, it's my birthday, I want to buy something, but I didn't because I didn't need anything. I was able to restrain myself. It was a moment of growth for me. I did not buy anything I did not need, because in my last video I showed you this yarn that I bought, and look, it's still in a hank form. It's still a brand new hank of yarn. I do not need any more. But with that being said, I did receive some gifts yesterday from some friends. Only some are knitting related, but one of my friends gave me this patch. Isn't this cool? It's an MF Doom Hello Kitty patch. I think it's by Sugar Bombing. If I can find it online, I'll put it in the description below, but isn't this sick? I thought this was pretty cool. He also gave me some flowers, which was very sweet. Someone else gave me some yarn, which was cool. Some sock yarn. This is Malabrio sock, so it's not ultimate sock. It doesn't have nylon. It's just regular merino. Nice and pretty. And then, so when they gave me this, they said that they asked at the yarn store for sock yarns. And the person, I guess, helped them pick out these yarns. So they picked out the Malabrio sock, which is like an easy, duh, that's a sock yarn. But I guess they also like picked out this yarn, and I don't know if like the employee helping them picked this out or if they picked it out. It's definitely not sock yarn. It's very pretty. The color is lovely. It's called Cranberry, I think. It's Chasky by Amano yarn, and it's superwash merino, Pima cotton, and linen. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Maybe make a cute little top, because I don't think it's sock yarn. Just based on the content, that seems like a weird content for sock yarn. So this will be made into something else. But isn't this pretty? I think this is such a nice color that I probably wouldn't normally be drawn to, because I'm drawn to like the wild colors. But this is probably gonna be like a great, this could be a really pretty top. Maybe I'll try to find a top pattern, like one of my favorite things, knitwear tanks. Could be nice. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Like I said, this is the Amano Chasky yarn, and I only have one hank, which is 383 yards. But yeah, that was very nice of someone to buy yarn for me, because, you know, your girl loves yarn, and I think at this point everyone knows that I love yarn. Recently, my mother is also very supportive of my knitting habits, journey, whatever we want to call it, and she was aware of the sock blocker struggle. I don't know, it wasn't really a struggle, it was just me not wanting to buy sock blockers, and then I got a pair of sock blockers from Sam, which was amazing. Thank you so much. I guess she was into the sock blockers, so she bought me some more. And I'm not usually an Amazon stan, but these did come from Amazon. I'm hoping they'll be fine. I'm sure they will, because it's just a shape, essentially. Like, but she ordered this like set of 3 sock blockers. So it came with this one, which has this, and I guess you can make it a bigger size, which is kind of cool, like for, I guess that's what this is. I haven't even opened it, obviously. And they also came with this one, which is, I don't know, bigger? Wait. I don't know why I started talking about these sock blockers when I don't even know what the difference between any of them are. This one has cute little cutouts, which is very like, probably a rip-off of some of those like beautiful wood ones that you can get on Etsy, like the ones that Andrea Mowry has in her studio with the hearts. Those are so pretty. I'm sure this is like a rip-off of those, because these are like very thin. They're like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch thick. Like, this is 2 sock blockers right here. They're very thin. These look really big. I don't know. These will be helpful. Lars. Yeah, so I have some more sock blockers now, and now I can make 4 pairs of socks and block them all at the same time. All right, I'm gonna get back to knitting, so I'll see you soon. I think it's been 2 days since I last checked in. I did do the heels, and now I have to get through 2 more repeats of the Colorwork chart, and it's taking me a very long time to get through the Colorwork chart, and it could be because I'm doing them 2 at a time. So I did one more repeat of the Colorwork chart after I did the heels, and now I have to do 1 more before I can do the toes. And it's taking me a very long time, like I just said. The Colorwork chart is a 24 row repeat, and I just finished the last one. So I have to do it once more. I'm gonna start from the first row and go up to row 24. It is 12:50 in the afternoon right now, and I don't have to leave until about 4:45, so I got some time. And I'm gonna be bummed if I can't knit 24 rows, well, I guess 48 rows in like, what, 4 hours, 5 hours? It's taking so long. It's like, what, it's the 29th of September. Like, there's only 1 day left in September. Like, can I get this video up by tomorrow? I don't think so, because I still need to block the socks. Dang it! I think I've learned, like, I always underestimate how long something's going to take me. Like, this video is for sure gonna be up in October. And then it's spooky season and we gotta start doing spooky stuff. Everything takes so long. My vintage sweater came. I think I mentioned this in the Fuzzy Wuzzy Knitting podcast. I don't know. I ordered it literally like a month ago from Eleanor Stories. I forget, but I'll put her Instagram on the screen. Yeah, I ordered this from her like a month ago. It did come from the UK and it took a really long time. It took like 3 weeks to get here. But it's so cool. I'm really excited. It says it's a hand knit. Should we look at the inside? It says it's a vintage hand knit. Looks pretty nice for a hand knit intarsia. It looks like, I mean, this side is a little bit, you can really tell. It's a little messier on this side, but it looks great. I'm so excited to have this. It's pretty soft, considering it's like a vintage mohair, which I feel like is notoriously scratchy. Also smells like an old lady in the best way. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped to have this. Unfortunately, today's September 30th and it's like really hot outside. It's like 80 degrees, which is not good. I'm almost done. I have like half of the knitting chart left and then I can do the toes. I'm so happy that I'm almost at the toes because I'm really sick of knitting these socks. And it has nothing to do with the pattern. I think it's the 2 at a time process. It just feels very, very long. So I'm almost there. I have about half the chart left, so that's about 12 rows. So I'll be done in like 4 hours. I will see you when I'm gonna block these. I cannot wait until we're at the blocking stage. I have to figure out how long it's actually been because I've probably only been knitting these for about a week, but it feels like it's been years. They are taking forever. I will see you when it's time to block. I'm going to block them tonight. Like, that is the goal. Come on, Eliza, come on. We're blocking these tonight. Looking very small. I'm worried that they're going to be very, very small. They are so tight. Hopefully blocking will save them. Oh my god, they look so small. The socks are done and they are beautiful. They look pretty amazing. I think there's like a little bit of, or you know, actually the pattern's not, or maybe the pattern is warped a little bit, like where I was turning. It did warp a little bit. But the thing about these socks is I decided to use needle size 1 because I didn't read the pattern before I bought my needles, and I figured I could just match their gauge. But when I read the pattern after I bought the size 1 needles, I realized that I think it was like you could use size 1 or you could use size 1.5 to match their gauge. And it was like to change needles, not to like match a gauge swatch. I don't even know. But I was like, oh, shoot. I should have gotten needle size 1.5 in Magic Loop. And I was like really set on doing the 2 at a time socks. So that was my first mistake. And my second mistake was probably doing stranded colorwork for my first pair of stranded colorwork socks, and also the 2 at a time socks, and also Magic Loop. 3 things I'm not very comfortable with. With that being said, these do not fit my feet. These are very tight and very small, I guess. And they like don't even want to fit on the sock blockers. Like, can you tell that they're actually smaller? I don't know. But yeah, these don't fit my feet. I really tried hard yesterday to get these on my feet, and I just couldn't get them over my heel. My birthday socks don't fit my feet, but that's okay because I had a lot of fun knitting these, and I learned that shit gets tight, and yeah, that's what they look like. I used the speckled Dream in Color yarn for the white. I think it looks really beautiful. There's Lars. And then that like sapphire yarn for the blue, which I think was Koigu yarn. I hadn't ever heard of that before. Lars, look at that beast distracting me. I'm like kind of bummed that these don't fit because they are so cool, and I think they look really great. And yeah, they're really small. So I might see if they fit my friend who has smaller feet than me. I was also thinking of sending these to my tattoo artist who has a size 5.5 foot, which is pretty small. But then I'm like, what if they're too big for a 5.5? So yeah, these are my problems now. Now it's like, who gets these socks? Because it's not me. It's someone with like 6, maybe like a size 6 foot. I don't know, does your ankle get smaller? I would imagine your ankle gets smaller as your feet get smaller, right? Because that's the main issue. I can't get it over my heel. I'll figure it out, and someone's gonna get these socks. Well, there you have it. Week 6? I think this is my week 6, and we did learn something. I'm glad that I learned this now because it is spooky season, and it's Socktober apparently. I didn't know Socktober was a thing, so I'm really excited because I'm like super into sock knitting, and it's Socktober. But what I was just saying before I like cut myself off is I'm glad that I learned this lesson before October, because I've seen some really cool like spooky colorwork socks. So maybe we can try again with the color work. And I don't know that I want to do, I think I'll do color work on double points next, like go back to my comfort zone. This whole video was very outside of my comfort zone. I definitely like, I got the 2 at a time thing down. I think I would probably do it again, not, you know, color work, maybe something a little bit simpler. Also, like Magic Loop was working fine. Usually I don't like Magic Loop, but it was going okay. These took me 9 days to make. I knit like at least a little bit every day. I think that's everything that I learned. This has you knit it cuff down and you work the color work, and then it has like a German short rose heel, which is really simple. Do like the heel, I don't know if you can see it at all. And then a really simple toe. I actually posted on my Instagram the other day a picture of these like on they were just like on the very tip of the needles, and I was like, done. And then I started to graph them together, and I dropped a bunch of stitches to the point where I like dropped a bunch of my decreases, and I had to like go back and redo like half the toe on one. And I was like, God, I spoke too soon when I said I was done. but it's fine. It was really easy to fix. So this is our first sock fail. Like, it's a soft fail because they will fit someone else. They just don't fit me. And I was hoping that these would be like my special birthday socks. Whatever, we're learning. I don't need another pair of socks. I've already made myself like 3 pairs, and I'm sure I'm gonna make myself more pairs. Also, I just ordered stuff from Hedgehog Fibers. So we have an epic order from Hedgehog Fibers coming in about a month. I think it's gonna take a while to get here. Well, I have to go now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on Magic Loop, 2 at a time socks, Colorwork, any advice you have for me for loosening up my colorwork, because that is really the issue, is like the strands are pretty tight. Let me know your thoughts on everything, and let me know which pattern I should do next. I'm sure we'll find another fun way to pick the next pattern and the next yarn. It's spooky season now, gotta do some spooky stuff. I'm open to all ideas, so just let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!